In this example, we're going to describe the transformations for this equation, and then we'll sketch the equation by hand. So if we look here, A is negative, so we know right off the bat that there will be a reflection over the x-axis. And also, A is 1/2, or the absolute value of A is 1/2. So this one will widen with respect to the y-axis by a factor of 1/2. In other words, all the y values are going to be 1/2 of the parent function. We also can see that there is a shift. The -1 is inside by the x, and we need to do the opposite of that. So it's going to be shift right by 1. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to graph the parent function. And then we're going to step through this and see if we can graph this function just using this information right here. So the parent function of this is y is equal to x to the third power. That's the simplest form of an equation like this, and these two will have the same general shape. It's going to look like a, kind of an S curve, but not really S-y on the end, just sort of like this. So let's plot that. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 8s up there. 1, 1, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That point will be right there. I'll move this up just a bit. So this graph is going to look just like this. Oops, it's going to come up over the top and then come over here like this. So this gives us the general shape with no shifts, no reflection, no widen or narrow or anything like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply that to this new one. So let me do this. I'm going to step through this in a couple different ways. And so let me graph in red. I'm going to graph this with just the shift. So the graph that I'm going to do is just going to be x minus 1 to the third power. So everything is shifted to the right. So now this point is here, this point is here, this point is here, this point is here, and this point is here. So we can now see that with just one piece of this whole business here, the graph would look like this. And I should probably put my arrowheads there. Let me do that with the green one. Of course, that continues on for a long time. So the one in red is getting closer to what this looks like. And you can do each piece on its own, but I think I'm going to do the next two pieces together. So this one is going to be the actual equation right here, the actual function itself. There's a reflection, and it's going to widen by a factor of 1/2. All the y values are going to be 1/2 of what they used to be. So let's do the reflection piece. The reflection piece would be here, but instead of a y value of -1, we want to make that value 1/2. Also, with this position here, this is going to be 8 units up. We need to go 8 units down, but cut that value in half. There's a factor of 1/2 here. All the y values are cut in half. So let's see. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. This point will be reflected and then also in half. And this point of inflection here will stay the same. Of course, 1/2 of 0 is still 0, and you don't reflect 0 because the opposite of 0 is just 0. This bottom part right here, it's going to be 4, and it's going to be in the opposite direction with that reflection. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can connect these using the shape that we saw before. Try to draw that nice curve. And this is the actual function that we need to graph right here. If you didn't graph the green or the red and just graph the one in maroon here, that would be fine, or in purple. That'd be great. My brain, for some reason, I like to step through each transformation, and sometimes I can do two at once, like the reflection and the 1/2 thing. If you want to, you can pick a test point and see if it works. So let's pick -1, 4 and see if this works in the equation. If it doesn't, then we've got something is messed up here. If it does, then we're good to go. So let's just test -1, 4 here. We've got 4 is equal to -1/2. This is going to be -1 minus 1 to the third power. So this will be 4 is equal to negative 1/2. Negative 2 would be inside. We're using order of operations here to simplify the right side. There's no variables. We're not solving for anything. Now we have negative 2 to the third power. So that is going to be negative 8. We're multiplying these two. You could use a multiplication symbol if you wanted to here. A negative times a negative is a positive, excuse me. And 1/2 times 8 is totally 4. So we know that this point is a solution. And when we graph an equation, all we're doing is graphing all the solutions. So you should be able to pick any point on this curve right here, this purple graph, and it should make this equation up on the top there true.